Hey everyone, ready to dive into something kind of mind-blowing.
Always up for a challenge. What are we tackling today?
We're going deep on AI therapists.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's been in the news a lot lately. What's the angle here?
We're looking at Capitulo 021.pdf. It gets into some pretty heavy stuff about the future of mental health care.
I'm intrigued. It seems like everywhere you turn, there's some new AI promising to revolutionize, well, everything.
Right, and now it's therapy's turn.
So are we talking about replacing therapists with robots now?
Well, that's one of the big questions, isn't it? This article doesn't hold back. It dives straight into the possibilities, and trust me, some of them are straight out of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Imagine you're feeling anxious or down, and instead of waiting weeks for an appointment, you just talk to your AI therapist. Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, I can see the appeal, especially these days when everyone's so busy and stressed. But can an AI really replace a human connection? That's a pretty high bar.
That's the heart of the matter, right? And it's something this article really grapples with. It's not just about convenience, though. Think about the potential for personalized care. The AI could track your moods, sleep patterns, even your social media use, and pick up on subtle changes that a human therapist might miss.
Okay, that's kind of cool, but also a little creepy. Like, is my phone listening to me all the time now?
Right, it's that whole data privacy thing rearing its head again. Who has access to all that information about our innermost thoughts and feelings? What are they doing with it? These are questions we can't ignore.
Definitely not. And it's not just about some big company knowing you're stressed. The article talks about AI potentially identifying mental health issues before you even realize something's wrong.
It's like having a 247 early warning system for your mental well-being. Pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
But then there's the flip side. What if the AI gets it wrong?
Or what if it flags something as a problem that you don't necessarily see as a problem? Suddenly you're being nudged towards treatment you might not even want or need.
That's a really good point. And who gets to decide what's considered normal anyway? Is it just based on some algorithm? It feels like we're wading into some ethically murky waters here.
Absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting, I think, because these AI therapy apps, they're not being developed in a vacuum. They're businesses, and businesses need to make money. So where does the profit motive fit into all of this?
Right. Are we talking about genuinely helping people, or are we talking about commodifying mental health?
Mm.
It's a question that the article doesn't shy away from. And it made me think, are we so focused on finding a technological solution that we're forgetting about the human element of therapy?
Because there's something about sitting across from another human being, someone who's really listening to you, that's hard to replicate with lines of code, right?
Absolutely. And that's what this all boils down to. Can an AI, even the super advanced one, truly understand the nuances of human emotion? Can it feel empathy?
Can it really grasp what it means to be human with all our complexities and contradictions?
It's a question that has no easy answers, but it's one we need to be asking as we venture further into this uncharted territory.
It's tricky, right? Because on one hand, you've got this incredible technology that could potentially transform how we approach mental health care. And on the other, you've got this very human element that's so essential to healing and well-being.
So where do we go from here? Is it a zero-sum game? One or the other?
Well, the article actually proposes a really interesting idea. What if it's not about replacing therapists with AI, but rather using AI to empower them?
Okay, now that's something I can get behind. Kind of like giving therapists a technological sidekick.
Exactly. Imagine an AI that can analyze all that data we were talking about, your moods, sleep patterns, even your language use, and then flag potential issues for your therapist.
So the AI is like the detective gathering clues, and the therapist is like the counselor, using those clues to guide the conversation and help you make sense of it all.
Exactly. And not just that. Think about personalized treatment plans. The AI could analyze your data and suggest specific therapeutic approaches that might be most effective for you.
That'd be amazing, especially for people who haven't had much success with traditional therapy. It's like having a treatment plan tailored to your unique needs from day one. But even in this scenario, there's still that question of control, isn't there?
Definitely. And the article raises some really important points about this, like who gets to decide what information is shared with the therapist? Is it all completely transparent? Or does the AI have some kind of filter?
And what happens if there's a disagreement? Like the AI flags something as a potential issue, but you don't agree.
Yeah.
Who gets the final say?
These are questions we need to be thinking about now before this technology becomes even more widespread. Because it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of what AI can do, but we can't forget about the potential downsides.
Absolutely. We're talking about something really personal here, our minds, our emotions, our inner lives. And if we're not careful, we could end up creating a system where we're essentially outsourcing our mental well-being to an algorithm.
And that's a slippery slope because ultimately therapy is about empowerment, right? It's about giving individuals the tools and insights they need to understand themselves better and make positive changes in their lives.
So it's not just about whether AI can be as effective as a human therapist. It's about whether it can empower us in the same way.
Exactly. It's about agency. It's about feeling in control of your own mental health journey.
Which brings us to another big question, trust. Can you really build a trusting relationship with an AI, knowing that it's just lines of code? How does that impact the therapeutic process?
Right, because so much of therapy depends on that feeling of connection, of being seen and heard by another human being. Can an AI replicate that?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because on the one hand, some people might find it really hard to open up to a machine, even if it is super advanced. But then again,
Some people might actually find it easier to open up to an AI.
you're right, especially if they've had negative experiences with human therapists in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe the lack of judgment, the anonymity of it, would feel safer for them.
And that's something the article highlights really well. I think there's no one size fits all answer here. Everyone's going to have a different comfort level with AI therapy.
It's like any new technology, really. Some people are early adopters, eager to jump in and see what it's all about. Others are more cautious, hesitant to embrace something so new and unfamiliar, and that's okay.
Absolutely. The important thing is that we're having these conversations, that we're thinking critically about the potential benefits and drawbacks of AI therapy, because this isn't just some abstract debate. This is about the future of mental health care. And it's a future that's rapidly approaching.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of something big here. But how do we make sure this technology is used for good? How do we shape this future responsibly?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. And the article doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but it does offer a glimmer of hope. It suggests that AI, used ethically and thoughtfully, could actually enhance the human connection in therapy, not replace it.
So not about replacing therapists, but maybe giving them superpowers.
Exactly. Like imagine AI helping therapists personalize treatment plans, identifying early warning signs even before their clients do, even tailoring their communication styles to better connect with each individual.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like AI could help therapists be even better at what they already do, more intuitive, more effective. But can it ever really replace that human connection, that empathy?
That's the big question, isn't it? And the article acknowledges that. It emphasizes that AI should be a tool, not a replacement for human interaction and expertise.
So what can we do to make sure it doesn't become a replacement?
I think awareness is a huge part of it. Being informed about the potential benefits and drawbacks, asking those tough questions, demanding transparency from the companies developing this technology.
And not being afraid to push back if we see something that doesn't feel right.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, this is about our mental well-being, our very sense of self. It's not something to be taken lightly.
Well said. This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive. I feel like we've just scratched the surface, though,
Definitely. There's so much more to explore here.
and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. But for now, I think we've given everyone a lot to think about.
For sure.
So as you go about your week, maybe take some time to reflect on what we've discussed. What role do you want AI to play in your life, in the future of mental health care? It's a conversation worth having.
Absolutely. The future is being written right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
That's a great note to end on. Until next time, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.